Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So the next discussion is on the types of i'rab. So the author says that there are 4 types of i'rab: rafa', raf'un, nasbun, khafdun, which is also known more commonly as jar, so jarrun, and jazmun, jazm, rafa', nasb, khafd, and jar. So these are the 4 types of i'rab. Let me just, if you just take a metaphor to understand this better. Imagine you have a dish, and this dish you've cooked some nice lasagna in it or something. It's now dirty, it needs to be washed. So we're gonna say this dish is either washed, or it's being washed, or it's still unwashed. Yeah. So if you imagine those these 3 states to be like the states of i'rab. Yeah. The dish is the word, and the sign of which state the dish is the condition of the dish. So if we say the dish is unwashed, its sign is that there's still bits of cheese and tomato and whatever. There's still all these bits of food left on the dish. So its state is that it's unwashed, and the sign that it's unwashed are these things. And then we say the dish is being washed, and the sign of that is that you've put some washing up liquid in the dish and you've been scrubbing it, but there's some washing up liquid, so it's being washed, and this liquid inside on the dish is the sign that it's being washed. And then you put it into the tap, you get rid of all the dirt, and now you'd say that this dish is washed, and its state is that it's washed, and the sign of this is that there's nothing on it. It's a clean dish. So this and the washing process, you'd call that the i'rab, the agent. It's the filth, how the filth got there would be how not the filth, how the traces of food got there. That would be the state, the agent of one state. The water for the washing is this agent of another state, or you're pouring the washing liquid onto it. That's the agent of another state. And the water having washed away all traces of the food is the agent of change in the last one. So just like this with i'rab, we have i'rab is the changing of these states. And the main types of i'rab, all the types are here: rafa', nasb, khafd, and jar. So a word which is in a state of rafa', you say, which is usually shown with a dhamma, you say this word is marfu'un. If a word is in a state of nasb, you say it's mansubun. If it's in a state of khafd, makhfudun or majrurun. And if it's in a state of jazm, you'd say it's majzoom. So what we find here is that the first two, rafa' and nasb, are both states that apply to nouns, to asma, and to verbs, af'al. But the other two are not the same. Khafd or jar is specific to nouns. Only an ism is majroor. That's why we saw earlier on, it's one of the ways of identifying an ism. Looking, is it majroor? Does it have khafd or not? And jazm, which literally means to be firm on something, it means that there's no vowel, right? And this is specific to verbs, right? As a state of i'rab, right? And although asmak are majzoom at times, but generally with this, it's like that. The author says, فللأسماء من ذلك الرفع والنصب والخفض لا جزم فيها. Right? As a state of i'rab, what nouns have, what asma have, is rafa', nasb, and khafd, and they don't have jazm. وللأفعال من ذلك الرفع والنصب والجزم لا خفض فيها. and verbs have rafa', nasb and jazm, and they have no khafd. So the easy way to remember it, rafa' and nasb apply to everything, jar applies only to nouns, and jazm applies only to verbs. So these are the four types of i'rab. How do you identify if a word is in a particular state of i'rab? So obviously one of the benefits of studying grammar is eventually you don't need signs, that you can read an unvowelized text, and just from your knowledge of grammar, that you can place it in its state of i'rab. So what we'll do next is we'll look at the signs of rafa'. For example, how can we identify a word is in rafa', and what are the signs? Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.